You mentioned that by the time you met Turcotte and began being in dialogue there, the dialogue was of a deeper, more complex and theological nature than the Brotherhood dinners. Why do you why at that time had things evolved for certain reasons, or?
There was evolution on both sides. I think that in the Jewish community there had been a certain hesitation about becoming involved in dialogue. There was always the apprehension that underlying the dialogue would be an effort to convert Jews to Christianity. And it took a while before the confidence developed that you could be Jewish, enter into dialogue with Christians, and not be vulnerable to pressures for conversion. The other thing that evolved, I think that by and large, members of the Jewish community had not had much experience in talking about their own religion. And one of the exceptional phenomena in dialogue is that as you become involved in conversation about the two religions, you become more aware, more knowledgeable, more eloquent in talking about your own religion, and more committed to your own religion rather than being weakened in your commitment. On the Christian side, there was a beginning movement in which Cardinal Léger was an absolute pioneer to recognize the reality of how Jesus had lived, that he had practiced Judaism, worshipped in the synagogue, related to the Jewish community in conflictual ways with some of the leadership, but nevertheless he was a practicing Jew all his life. So were his apostles. And the ancient accusation that Jews had not only rejected Jesus and his religious inspiration, but had also been responsible for his death, there were people like Cardinal Léger who were prepared to rethink that, to look at the scholarship that was developing, and to understand things differently. And there was one particular individual who played an extraordinary role in this, a Frenchman by the name of Jules Isaac, who wrote about Jesus and Israel, and also wrote about l'enseignement du mépris, the teaching of hatred, the teaching of negativism. And he went to see Pope John the 23rd shortly before he passed away, before Jules Isaac passed away, and had a very intense conversation to which Pope John the 23rd listened with great care. And there's just no doubt but that conversation was part of the inspiration which led Pope John the 23rd to convene the Second Vatican Council. So this was really a ferment of new understanding and new conversation, and I was a beneficiary of it and a participant in it. And I didn't have that many personal conversations with Cardinal Turcotte, but when I came upon something that appeared to me to be of particular interest and significance, I put it in an envelope and I sent it to him. And when I would meet him, he would express appreciation. And I had one quite special experience, which was only a few years ago. The newspaper Le Devoir was celebrating its centennial, and they had a big formal dinner to which many people were invited, including your humble servant. And I arrived at Bon Secours Market and was in the lobby chatting with some people, and Cardinal Turcotte arrived. And he greeted me rather warmly, and that surprised the people that I was standing and talking with, one of whom was a journalist. And the journalist was brash enough to say to Cardinal Turcotte, how come you had this particularly warm greeting for Dr. Goldbloom? And Cardinal Turcotte says, because he only talks about what he knows.